right,
Nice.
so welcome
right.
back, everyone.
Hey.
We're really excited there's going to be a movie. How did this even come to be a thing, and what are we going to see?
How did this company be? We, I think, started talking about this during season 8. So it was we are not going away. We have way too much fun. Everybody is a big family. So this was always our plan. It was all about convincing the network or somebody or the fans to fund it or something. So that for us was in the cards, and then it got to the point where once a year, one of the executives would call Steve and say, "Oh, it came up in conversation today," and they'd be teasing, and at some point about a year ago it came up again. Well, we've been talking about maybe there's a holiday thing, and so then I made a call and to that person and said, why don't we stop talking about this? Why don't we why don't you guys order a script? That's not expensive, and it's dipping a toe in the water. And then I think once you have a script, everybody will get super excited because it'll be awesome. So sure enough, they did that, and then we planned to put a script together, and James and Steve started talking about what it might look like, and we all started talking about what it might look like, and does it pick up the minute that we leave the series, or has time passed? How much time has passed? I mean, we could do anything. 10 years could have passed, and we could have played these guys much older. We could have, so it all started coming together, and that's how it started.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So what's the answer to that? When does it pick up? Is it right away, or?
It picks up 3 years after they moved to San Francisco, which is fun. And I think what became obvious is that if we didn't just pick it up right where you left off, then you've got all the answers, right? So you know where these characters have been and where they're going. If we pick it up 3 years later, not only does everybody's, Gus has a beard, and everybody can play around with their looks, but now we can fill in the blanks for everybody and have fun doing that. So we'll see. Henry has evolved a little bit in his retirement and changed. He's become a hipster of sorts.
There's a scarf involved.
As he talks about in the movie, he moved into, he bought a retirement loft, and the area gentrified, and he didn't expect it to become a cool area, but it became cool, and then he became the retro guy. So he's leaned into that.
Does he still wear the shirts though?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No, he does not wear the Hawaiian shirts.
All right.
No,
so a totally new look for him.
He's cool.
Based on what Chris does.
No.
Very cool, very hip.
Imagine me with a little bit of
Yeah.
more scruff and a fedora.
There's
or
some of
something.
this,
Yeah.
some of that.
There's some coolness to him. But yeah, it's fun because we get to fill in those blanks about what's gone on with Juliet and Sean's relationship and where they are. Did they, are they still together? Are they still happy? Did they go off and get married in Vegas and we didn't get to see that? So we address all those issues about where they are in their progression, and we get to see Vic as the chief of the San Francisco Police Department, and everybody, where they are at. Gus has a new job, which I don't think I'm leaking because we gave away some secrets by showing the first 8 minutes of the movie in the panel. So you'll see that Gus has settled into a new job because he needs security, as we know.
Is he in pharmaceuticals again, or is he?
I won't say that, but it's an office job. It's an office job.
The movie that it does pick up 3 years later, was it tough approaching them and actually finding out where those characters were now? Obviously, say right now, in real life, you lose a good friend for 3 years, you lose touch with them, you got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
These are characters that you guys are good friends with, you knew them, where they were. When the show ended, did you already know where they were going, or did you kind of have to look for them and get on Facebook?
I think Steve probably had a pretty good idea of where they were going. I think we tried to address that as much as we could in that final episode by setting people on their paths, and Lassiter buys Henry's house, and Henry stays in Santa Barbara, and Lassie stays in Santa Barbara and gets elevated to chief there, and she comes down, and Vic comes down to San Francisco and brings Juliet, and so and then, you know, obviously Gus, and Gus follows Sean follows Gus. They follow each other. So I think everybody was kind of on that path, and I think that became the plan. So it was easy to pick it up, because then we were like, all right, well, we kind of know where we left everybody, so let's just continue in that. There were no giant right turns other than maybe Henry.
Yeah.
But there's, you know, so we get to see everybody more or less like we love them, in the same similar type of predicaments professionally and personally that we left them in.
Your flashbacks serve a purpose in the movie because they're such a big part of the episode. Is there a flashback?
No.
There's no young Sean.
They're 3 years older now. Does that mean we're going to get 90s movies references instead of 80s?
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think. But
No.
somehow they still sink back into the comfort of the 80s, more or less.
Now, how many pineapples are we going to have to look for? That's really the question.
I was just saying this to another table where these guys did a really great job, and then we kind of came in and policed it and added to it, I think, once we were shooting, to make sure that, like, every box we could think of was checked. So all the stuff that we know that you guys love and that we love doing and that became a thing, like, that we service that. So you'll see it. There's a lot of new "Don't Be a," and there's a lot of new "This Is My Partner." There's all that fun. There will be pineapple in the movie. There will be a lot of little hidden Easter eggs too, with some casting people that pop up that are still surprises.
I think Ellen Rand said it back to one of our UCP executives, who said it's a true love letter to our Psych fans, you know, so you can step into it new and still love it, but if you stayed with the show the whole time, I think, you know, Chris and Steve and the guy, they just added they checked every box. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and we wanted to make sure that, like, I think when we set out to do this, the goal was to not make another episode, you know, or to make 2 episodes and put them together and make it feel. The goal was really to, what's a Psych movie feel like? Like, how does this feel bigger and better? And even though we didn't shoot in San Francisco, it feels very San Francisco. We utilized that city and, you know, landmarks in that city to kind of talk about and think about, and sort of informed what Psych has become. San Francisco has enveloped Psych and it's become Psych Francisco. So there's a lot of, like, really fun, big elements that make it feel like a special, I hope.
New casting, you mentioned a few new characters and things. What's your most exciting thing you've seen done with that?
With casting in the movie? I think, you know, having Zach join us.
I mean, I heard Zach Levi is going to be a villain.
Yeah. We knew he'd have fun doing that, and so, you know, they created a character that, you know, is especially fun for Zach. So Zach shows up, you know, looking and sounding not very much like Zach, which I think was fun for him and fun for us. And he gets to play a villain, which is awesome. So that's probably the big one. And then a handful of people that kind of pop back into our lives that are really fun and great surprises.
Did you throw in any Chuck references?
Any Chuck references? No, not in the movie. I don't think. But in the teaser, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap now.